Hello, everyone. This is Zac Dudzik from Rogue Energy. It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for
Um,
having me.
yeah, of course. I'm really excited for this. This is a great interview. I'm really excited. Let's talk about Rogue. So, why energy
Sure.
formula? Can you talk about how it was founded in 2017?
Yeah, good question. So, 2017 feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back in 2017, my best friend and business partner Chris and I were both working corporate jobs, and we were playing a lot of World of Warcraft. We're MMO heads ourselves, and we've been playing WoW since vanilla, and hence the name Rogue Energy. And we always wanted to start a business. And at that time, Twitch was really growing, and I've always had a passion for supplements.
Okay.
And I presented the idea to Chris that we should start a gaming drink company. There really weren't, many at the time. We're the third in North America, fourth in the world, and we knew that if we, looking at kind of like the landscape of what already existed, if we started with something that focused on the formula first and treated it like a supplement to actually kind of give you the results that you wanted, we knew there'd be an opportunity for us to really kind of make a difference. And it resonated right out the gate, and it was something that was able to get us off the ground. And energy was something that it's funny because kind of like the study of nootropics, which is kind of a term for like natural ingredients that upregulate your dopamine, your serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
The movie Limitless Pill was something that was kind of in the back of my mind, and I always love the idea of trying to create something that can help you, be more focused, be more locked in, give you energy. I always wanted to try to create the closest version of that Limitless Pill that always seemed so fascinating. So we kind of married a couple of our passions, and Rogue was born.
That's awesome. Especially now, because everyone's moving towards, or in recent years, everyone's moving towards like cleaner energy,
Oh
more
yeah.
natural energy. So it's
Yep.
really cool that, Rogue kind of like was one of the first ones to do so. That's awesome.
Yep,
Can
no
you?
sugar. We
Yeah.
wanted to, vitamins, zero sugar, natural ingredients, something a little healthier for you.
Hmm.
That was the focus.
Heck yeah, love that. Can you talk about or explain how maybe your previous experience with marketing and account management
Sure.
helped you found it?
Sure. So there's some crossover, and then some things that obviously wouldn't apply. But
Hmm.
previously, working corporate, I was kind of working in sales and marketing and helping businesses, in kind of that medium-sized business level, the 1 to 50 million or so with their marketing strategy.
Hmm.
So from that aspect, just kind of having the general sense of reaching KPIs, where to apply, and deploy marketing dollars and stuff like that, obviously helped in the early days in terms of getting Rogue off the ground from a branding perspective,
Hmm.
from an initial kind of getting the word out there. I would say that was the most applicable aspect of it, for me directly, pretty
Okay.
much.
So kind of talking about the early years, what were some of like the bigger or even smaller challenges that arose during that time?
Yeah, I mean, running a business, there's challenges every day. There's challenges every week, every month. You're always trying to overcome them and make the best decisions possible. Early on, that is a really good question. I would say early on for Rogue since day one has been what is called a bootstrap company. So we funded the creation of the company ourselves. So we didn't
Hmm.
take private equity backing. So we didn't start with several hundred thousand or $1 million or so. So really, I think being scrappy from the early days with our marketing budget, how to spend our dollars, you know, when to deploy capital for new products and stuff was really important. Making sure we're conscious of our cash flow, and just you know approaching it from being conscious of the purse strings early on was the hardest part. Early days and still to this day, finding the right people to partner with and
Mm-hmm.
to back and to help represent and be a good representative of our brand is a challenge.
Hmm.
And we're always looking for creators, podcasts, esports teams that we think would represent Rogue well.
Hmm.
And finding the right people is always one of the toughest parts.
Yeah, I get that. Get that. Is there a little bit of a throwball, but is there a specific like time that you remember that you'd like to talk about that was like particularly challenging during the early days?
Good question. So early days. So we started in 2017. I was 27, wife, no kids yet, so that aspect was a little bit easier. But we were really young, really scrappy. We were a small company, so we were actually doing our day jobs, and at nighttime we were,
Mm,
hopping into social media, sending out social posts, packing orders by ourselves. We would actually, you know, in the very early days, we hand packed every single one of our single serve packs. I mean, that was millennia ago, but
wow.
it was a very scrappy operation to begin with. So every one of our
Okay.
sample packs was hand packed. It was, I would say that trying to moonlight was one of the hardest phases. And obviously, long ago, we were able to, with the success of Rogue, we were able to go full time, which helped quite a lot. But the balancing act of managing the two jobs and trying to get
Mm-hmm.
a young fledgling company off the ground was one of the harder parts, I would say.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So why esports? How did you get into the esports space?
I think esports is one piece of the pie
Mm-hmm.
of Rogue. I mean, Rogue, really anyone, whether you're in gaming or streaming or content creation or esports, anyone can drink it, enjoy it, consume it.
Right.
Any of our product lines. But from an esports perspective, I mean, just naturally, like traditional athletes who are going to take supplements and are going to be conscientious of how their performance is. Esports athletes are also looking for an edge. They need to be
Mm-hmm.
focused. They need to be the right level of energized. And there's the competitive aspect and element to it.
Right.
So everyone's looking for an edge if they want to aspire to be the best they possibly can. And there's just kind of that natural marrying of the two. We're delivering something that's able to improve your performance, and esports athletes, if they're trying to compete at the highest level, are also just trying to gain that extra 1% to just perform better. It's
Mm-hmm.
very competitive out there.
Yeah, yeah, and look at like all of like the tier one esports, and you see them like scream like right in front of their face, and you're just like, oh, okay,
Absolutely, it's
wow,
passionate.
yeah, and it's good. It's really, really
There's a
nice
lot
to
on the
see,
line. There's a lot
right?
on the line.
So, you mentioned a little bit ago that finding the right people to partner with
Right.
has been one of the challenges of Rogue. So, did that structure of partnering with those content creators, with esports teams, and with those like podcast people, did that develop before or after getting into the esports space? And also, along with
Good
that,
question.
why use that affiliate or like partnership program?
Ooh, I like that question. Okay, so transporting ourselves back to 2017, we were really the first ones to kind of use this model, at least in our space.
Mm-hmm.
So previously, any company that was partnering with organizations or content creators was doing so through agencies with large contracts, exclusively with some of the largest talent in the world. And we realized that there was an entire side of Twitch, an entire side of content creator size, an entire size of esports team that wasn't being represented at the absolute highest levels,
Mm-hmm.
but also deserved to represent a brand, gain benefits themselves. So from the get-go, I think one of our unique advantages and something that helped us get off the ground was we leveraged sponsorships and affiliate marketing and influencer marketing from day one,
Okay.
and received amazing positive results and feedback every step of the way. People that previously were neglected or not considered for sponsorship were now, having the opportunity to, facilitate their dreams of creating content or competing in esports, or gaining revenue for the content they're producing, whereas previously they would not have been able to. So we were able to, um, as far as I'm aware, kind of pioneer that model, at least for our space. And since
Mm-hmm.
then, several brands have kind of adopted that as well, kind of seeing the successes that we've had with it as well. So
Yeah, no, that because I remember my early days when I was like starting as a streamer, I was like, oh, well, what kind of like sponsorships are out there? I mean, I never really ran any sponsored streams.
yeah,
I wanted to, but I never got a chance to. But, especially being with Aspyre, I was just like,
yeah,
oh, Rogue, like that's great. That's so cool and all that stuff.
it's
So,
something that having done this for 8+ years, it's something that I think there still needs to be like maybe better education out there
mm-hmm,
for esports teams and content creators specifically, about like what their opportunities are in terms of what is my audience size and when should I consider finding a brand
Mm-hmm.
to sponsor me, or when do I qualify for an affiliate program versus when should I maybe seek an agency or representation and start to look for stipend based or paid deals, or when could I find a brand to maybe do a co-branded product or I produce my own
Right.
type of product. That's really kind of like the highest level where you maybe have grown your audience a little bit more. But I think there is still kind of a growing need and want for information regarding content creation and streaming and esports teams and how they get sponsored and how they can kind of support the dream and the journey that they're on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that is again one of like the best things about Rogue is that you can start small, you can start small with an affiliate
Absolutely.
link and it can scale and grow into like a partnership and then just go from there. And I think that's absolutely amazing.
I mean, we have, it's really cool and refreshing and neat to see. But I mean, we have people that have been with us since day one. And
Okay.
I mean, I remember seeing their streams and, they had a very low concurrent viewership count. And just to watch them grow over the years, gain that Twitch partnership, grow their subs, grow into their content creation, being with us every step of the way. And it's refreshing. It's really fun and exciting to see.
Yeah, that's really cool. Another little bit of a throwball. Are you still seeing like a large like growth of affiliate links? Like are people still like actively pursuing that with Rogue? Or are you kind of seeing more of like a steady like these are the people who've been with us and they're still like growing their own?
So for our model, we kind of take the Twitch approach is the way that we like to say that. So we have both affiliates where anyone, regardless of your audience size or the reach that you have, anyone can become an affiliate. You can
Mm-hmm.
begin to promote Rogue and gain benefits through that. And then we have partnership, which is a little bit more intimate. We actually have a really fantastic team of outreach individuals that are constantly on the lookout for talented creators and talented organizations, and we do outreach to those people to bring them on for Rogue partnership, and that's a little bit of a higher level of intimacy with added perks and benefits that are kind of behind the scenes that they get just for being at that kind of that higher level, if you will.
Okay, gotcha. Good to know. Good to
Yep.
know. So with that, with mentioning the outreach team and talking about Rogue, going back to Rogue itself, um,
Mhm.
how many people work at Rogue specifically, like for Rogue? Because I know obviously you have your
Yeah.
partnerships and your affiliates, but for Rogue itself, and does your company size help or hinder your growth at all?
So the number of employees fluctuates. We operate very much like a business does in 2025. So a lot of our workforce is remote. So I'm sitting in
Okay.
our headquarters right now. So we fluctuate anywhere from 7 to 15 employees at any given moment in time, based on seasonality a little bit, across a number of different roles and
Okay.
fulfillment. Some people local here. We actually package and manage and ship all of our orders right out of our headquarters right here in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then we've got a bunch of really fantastic employees that are kind of scattered throughout the US that do a lot of our online related activities. Related to does it hurt or hinder? There's benefits of being a small, scrappy company where we're able to be pretty agile. Everyone's kind of got a voice.
Okay.
Everyone, there's no like hierarchy, if you will. Everyone is gives input, and everyone, we seek feedback from everyone on the team. Sometimes, I guess maybe a negative would be, you always wish you could hire more people
Mm-hmm.
and have more people doing different tasks and stuff like that. And sometimes we'll wear a number of different hats depending upon what is required of us.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, for you as a CEO, what does
Yep.
your busiest day look like?
My busiest day, I do a lot of meetings. I do a lot of Discord calls, a lot of Zoom calls. I'm working with a lot of agencies, marketing agencies. I'm on a lot of different talent calls, so negotiating contracts and deals with different partnerships and stuff like that.
Okay.
I personally oversee kind of a roadmap for our product and the vision and our releases of where we're going to be, kind of the cadence of what we have in the pipeline for our research and development for new flavors, for new product lines, and the releases that we're going to have.
Okay.
And then working with Chris and the team, Topher and Britt, to coordinate our marketing efforts and what we're going to be posting. A lot of calls, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of meetings, and a lot of the management, kind of the higher level management of that type of stuff.
Yeah, so that's cool. You
Yep.
don't really get to, even though Rogue is could be like is considered like a smaller business, a lot of people don't get to talk to the CEOs of like the people who are the companies who are like so big in the gaming space. So you're just like, well, what
Sure.
do they do? Like, so you mentioned flavors and like R&D and starting all that. So how many flavors did you start with?
Yeah, I mean, when we started in 2017, we launched with two flavors.
Okay.
So we started with pink lemonade, which is still in our lineup today. One of our fan favorites and really amazing flavor. And then we had another flavor that was called berry pomegranate or rogue berry that we retired a number of years ago.
Okay.
So that one's no longer in the lineup.
Okay, and that was kind of going to be my follow-up question is which like
Yep.
have those flavors stayed. So that's really awesome to see that, pink lemonade has like like stayed like constant.
Yeah.
What flavor in your lineup like over these years has been the hardest to perfect?
Ooh, that is a good question. There's a number of different flavor kind of profiles that are really tricky to nail just right. And thus, probably the hardest ones to do are ones we probably have never released, in spite of trying many times. Of ones that we've released that have been really hard to hammer down. First, I'll say this: not a single flavor in any of our product lines get released from Rogue without at least, I mean, four, five, six, seven iterations, just
Okay.
trying to really perfect and hammer down the flavoring. Making sure that Rogue tastes great is one of our kind of our key pillars of making sure the product is great
Right,
quality.
right.
I think it's really challenging to get flavors involving like vanilla just right. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll hear things like requests for like strawberry shortcake and dessert related flavors like that. And vanilla is a tricky flavor to work with.
Gotcha.
That and anything related to chocolate, really hard to hammer down.
Has there been a chocolate flavor with Rogue?
A number of years ago, we had a product line that we have since retired to make room for new and exciting new product lines that was called Rogue Shake. It was a energy line that you would mix with milk. So it was kind of a
Oh,
refreshing dessert type product line.
gotcha.
Um, it had a small yet passionate group of fans, and within that product line, we had, I guess, the closest to it was a caramel vanilla latte that was really
Oh,
tasty.
okay.
That was had a little bit of like chocolate notes, but yeah, like a caramel vanilla coffee type flavor.
Hmm,
That was like a good replacement for like a Starbucks in the morning, like a nice iced coffee.
that sounds good.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty. I was sad when we had to retire it. But that is an aspect of our business model as well, where some flavors that we release and some product lines that we release are released with the intent of being what we call as evergreen, where they're intended to stay in our lineup forever, and others we release with the intent of being limited release. And there's some
Gotcha.
there's some excitement about that. Maybe it's not so much a seasonal flavor, but a flavor that we know is going to come and be a staple that everyone wants to get their hands on right when it's available. And when it departs and it enters the vault, it's gone forever.
Gotcha. Interesting. What's your current best-selling flavor?
We've got a number of them. We've got a number of them. My personal favorite is between Rocket Pop and Blue Raspberry.
Yep.
They taste like, Blue Raspberry tastes like a blue, dum dum sucker from my childhood, and Rocky Pop tastes like you're eating a popsicle. So those two are in my shaker most mornings. A rotation of those two personally.
I
Yeah,
definitely I love the rocket pop whenever I get a
yeah, it
chance
is a, it
to
is
have
a
it.
fan favorite. Fan
Yeah.
favorite to say the least. Yep.
Broad overview of can you give us a like small walkthrough of how like the R&D process starts? Like how do you who starts thinking of like the new flavors and how do you go from there?
So, from just a new flavor line or yeah, new flavor perspective in existing product lines, that's a little easier than adding like a new product line, which we also test as well. Thinking of new flavors, we take a lot into consideration. What's already in our lineup? What have we tested in the past and are still iterating on? And then what are some things that we've maybe never sampled and never tried before? So we work with our manufacturing partners that we've been working with since day one, and we basically request some samples with our formula that we've designed personally. with them, and we get samples in hand, a number of different versions of that, and we'll get our team together, and we always test internally first,
Mhm.
and we will kind of narrow down, take notes, narrow down the nuances of what we like, what we don't like, what we would change, maybe pick a version that we think is closest, send back for iterations. We'll get additional samples back, and from time to time, we'll actually even send it out to partners within our community to get feedback from people that are close to us but not within the business, so we can get maybe like
Right.
an outside perspective that isn't too close to it. And partners always like that when they get involved. It's kind of one of the perks of being a rogue partner as well. You have insight in advance to flavors that might be coming out. You get to sample things. Your
Yeah.
feedback is very much taken in by the team, so it's kind of a collaborative process. I get vetoed sometimes on flavors I maybe would want to roll with, but I take it upon the team and the feedback that we get, and we roll with whatever is the best.
That's cool. That's awesome that it's like a truly like collaborative experience to
Yeah, kind of a
include.
democracy, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I was also gonna ask, do new flavors like get beta tested, so to speak, with like
a
partners?
lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. To get a small like peek, I guess you could say, into
sure,
what goes behind the scenes. So like when someone places an order, how
sure,
does can we go through that process and like track that order basically?
sure. I mean, really, we're a rather simple process. I mean, we have our headquarters here with our offices and our warehousing. We don't do any. A lot of companies in today's day and age will do. A lot of e-commerce based companies will do like third party logistics, like 3PL companies. So they won't
Right.
actually manage or handle any of their logistics. We're the opposite of that. We want to have full control over our entire fulfillment process, just to ensure optimal speed and the highest level of customer service. So from the moment that an order comes into our system, we've got a team of fulfillment specialists here at our headquarters that will um, Monday through Friday, grab that from our order queue, fulfill that based upon whether it's going domestically in the US or it's going to go internationally, and we'll hand pack that here from our facility and get that out the door to you as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to be honest. And the
It's
whole
becoming more and more rare to do it that way.
right, and that's why I wanted to kind of just like highlight that because since you've mentioned that Rogue is like a smaller like company, like having consumers can feel comfortable, especially in like in today's day and age, that it is like a local company you are supporting.
Right,
It's not some big corporation, like they're
right.
hand packed and all that stuff. So I think that's really, really nice to hear and that's really awesome. So when you're growing your product line and
Yeah.
growing all those different lines, when did you guys decide to start selling cans and what kind of was the conversation or like the situation that kind of surrounded that?
Yeah, cans in particular are a really like they were like a really fun project that we knew we always wanted to try to tackle.
Mhm.
They are wildly different than all of our flagship product lines, which are powder based. So we have energy, hydration, and chill. They're all powdered based products within a tub, scooper and a shaker, add water, mix it up. A can is it's an RTD. It's a ready to drink product. It's liquid. It's a 12 pack of cans, 13 pounds. It's heavy, it's hard to
Mhm.
ship. There's a lot of challenges with it.
Mm.
It was something where we knew we always wanted to release flavors and see if we could do it. So we partnered with a really fantastic manufacturing team. We flew down to them. We did a lot of back and forth, make sure the product was just right, the formulation, the flavoring, and we released 4 flavors at our launch, and we knew that we always wanted to do kind of a like a limited release
Mhm.
product line of cans to see if we could do it. We got them in 5 Midwest states. We were in Hy-Vees and convenience stores all over Wisconsin, where we're located,
Okay.
Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, and we also ship them online.
That's awesome. And that kind of like goes into part of like the next question I was thinking of because I was gonna ask you, are you in
Yeah,
local stores? So hearing that you're in local stores is really awesome just to, that you're, local, just pop in, grab a Rogue and then you can go. Like that's I'd like
yep,
that. I'd like that if I could do
absolutely,
that.
totally.
So do you plan to scale like up to like big box retailers? And if so, which retailers would you target first?
So it might be heartbreaking for some people, but cans were always planned as a limited project.
Gotcha.
So cans will not be the cans aren't the future of Rogue.
Okay, good to know.
Our flagship product line, our powders are where the vast majority of our consumers gravitate towards, and
Hmm.
that's going to continue to remain to be our focus. So if we could put those into big box stores at some
Right.
point in time, when it makes sense to do so, maybe we will. Um, but yeah, the expansion of our powdered lines and new powdered lines are a key focus.
Yeah, heck yeah. Love that.
Yeah,
So if you were to expand the tubs to
sure.
retailers, which one in your ideal like, oh, this is who I'd like to go to first, like who would you contact first?
Some pretty obvious answers with that regarding what you would want to be in. You'd want to be in the WalMarts,
Right.
the Targets, of the world, of course, the 7-Elevens and whatnot.
That's always fun though. But
Yeah.
so currently you're just staying a little bit more smaller scale. Just
Yeah,
for now.
we do from a wholesale perspective with our powder-based product lines, we do a lot of wholesale, but a lot of it is on like a smaller basis. So we'll do a lot of like state-based and regional-based nutrition stores.
Okay.
We have a lot of wholesale international accounts in UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Canada. I mean, you name it. So a lot of international wholesale.
That's
Always
good to know.
open to expanding that aspect of it.
Could you give us any like, insider knowledge on any like new flavors coming out exclusive to this
Sure.
podcast?
Yeah, I mean, we just announced last Friday, so it's very fresh and new to us.
Okay.
The announcement of our second flavor in our chill line, Peaches and Dreams Rogue Chill. So that's going to be our next release that we have announced. So it's a delicious peaches and cream flavor. Our chill product line, for those that might not know, is a zero caffeine relaxation beverage. So it'd be something that
Okay.
it's a non-drowsy, natural ingredient, zero sugar product line that you would take, at the end of a long day to kind of relax, calm the mind, calm the senses, unwind after a busy day, a busy hectic day. That's the second addition to that product line.
Okay.
And aside from that, nothing that's going to be too surprising uh, just yet, or that we're ready to announce.
Okay. Okay. Just had to ask. That's
At any
awesome
moment
though.
in time, at any moment in time, because I think like listeners would want to hear something like this. At any moment in time, we probably have anywhere from 5 to 12 flavors
Okay.
that are being worked on at all times. So there is always a lot of R&D going on behind the scenes.
Love that. It's also again nice to see and hear a company that's still actively like you don't just sit comfortably on, oh, your
You
three
can't.
or four bestsellers and maybe
Yeah, you
one
can't.
or two like fun new flavors. So to hear that you guys are like, oh no, we are tackling this is awesome. That is all I have. Thank you so much for your time. It was great to meet you and talk with you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Is there anything that you would like to say personally to any of our like watchers and listeners?
I just want to thank you guys for listening. I hope were able to learn something or gain something or get a little insight into the backstory of Rogue Energy. And just want to thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for your time.